What a crazy market. Can you believe it? Who would have ever thought it was so difficult for a buyer to purchase a home in this country? And what this means for buyers is that you need to write a very, very competitive offer to win in these multiple offer situations. I'm sure you have encountered if you've already written offers. And if you haven't, you need to be prepared to do that. Let me explain. Hi, I'm Bob Baird with Coldwell Banker Realty Gundaker here in St. Louis, Missouri. And to say that it is a seller's market is a huge understatement. So how did we get here? Well, the reality is there are a lot of factors affecting this. Certainly low interest rates is one of them. We have historic low interest rates down around 3%, which is just unheard of. And that has brought buyers out of the woodwork. But unfortunately, we have this large group of buyers called millennials who are just now ready to buy homes. And they are placing great pressure on the market. And we have a lot of sellers who have decided to live in their homes longer. And certainly COVID didn't help with that. There was a lot of uncertainty about whether people would be able to find jobs and the like. But it has not slowed down the housing market. And so it is very difficult for a lot of reasons. Let me read this to you from the Wall Street Journal. It is dated April 15th, just about a week ago. And the caption is, "The U.S. is 3.8 million homes short." According to a new analysis from Freddie Mac, the U.S. housing market needs nearly 4 million single-family homes to meet the nation's demand. The $3.8 million shortfall marks a 52% increase in the housing shortage since 2018. Builders have been ramping up construction but are facing many challenges such as labor and lot shortages and the rapidly rising costs of material, notably lumber. And this next quote comes from an economist who I follow who writes, and the caption is, "Lofty lumber." Today, the price for 1,000 board feet of lumber on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange hit yet another high at $1,300 a 1,000 board feet. A year ago, the same contract was $328.50, and in 2009, it was $163.60. Nothing is forever. So, with all of this happening, now that you understand why we're in a seller's market, what do you need to do to be competitive? What do you need to do? Now, I'm going to premise this by telling you I'm licensed to practice in Missouri, and I work in St. Louis, Missouri. And contracts and real estate laws are different from state to state. So if you are in another state, I highly recommend you reach out to your agent and have this discussion. But this will give you some things to talk to them about. So how do you do this? Well, remember that the days when we used to ask, how much under the asking price do you think I can get this home for? Well, when we advise buyers, that is no longer the question. The question is, how much are you willing to pay over the asking price to get this offer? So let me give you an example. If you are looking at a $300,000 home in the market we're in right now, you really need to be looking at a home, say, at $275,000 or $250,000. And remember that you may need some of that distance between $250,000 and $300,000 to cover for paying a price that is over the asking price. So if you're looking for a $300,000 home, you may need to be setting your sights for something lower so that you have enough money to pay over the asking price, because chances are very good you will. Now, the good news is that with interest rates where they are, the difference in what you'll pay is not a lot of money when it comes to your monthly payment. Have your lender run the numbers, but we're talking in some cases, $20, $25, $50, somewhere in that neighborhood between those amounts. So don't let it scare you when someone says you're going to need to bid $25,000 over the asking price to get this home, because it might not make that big of a difference in your monthly payments. And although it's difficult to win a deal without paying cash, it is possible to still win deals using conventional financing. It's almost impossible right now to get a home with an FHA or VA loan if there are multiple offers, because there will be other offers that are cash and or conventional loan with large down payments, and sellers, if the other terms are right, will typically take those offers. Not always, but it's gotten a lot more difficult to win with an offer that is based on a government loan, or even in some cases a conventional loan. But you can qualify for a conventional loan with as little as 5%. And if you have been looking at government loans, you may want to consider a conventional loan. With an FHA loan, you would have had to have put down 3.5%. And with a conventional loan, it's not that much more. So talk to your lender and see if it's possible for you to make an offer with a conventional loan if you need a loan. One of the things your agent may ask you to do is consider the use of an escalation clause. Now, an escalation clause basically says to the seller, hey, I'm going to offer X amount of money for your home. But if you get another offer that's higher, my offer will automatically go up in increments of a certain amount, usually $1,000, to beat that other offer. Now, there has to be proof that there is another offer, a bona fide offer, for this to be employed. But this will help you minimize how much you have to pay over a competitor's offer to win. Now, these have worked well in the past. They're not working that well now for a lot of reasons, and there is some risk. So I recommend you talk with your agent and have that agent talk to the listing agent to see if they'll even accept an escalation clause. And aside from paying more for a home, which is probably the best way to win a deal, there are several things you can do in the contract that do create or possibly create risk for you, but can make your offer more competitive. Let's start with removing contingencies, inspections, appraisals, loan contingencies. Those types of clauses in the contract can be modified or removed altogether if you're comfortable with accepting that amount of risk. And let's face it, other buyers are removing some of those items or modifying them to win the deal. So that's kind of the market you're playing in right now. Buyers are having to take on more risk because of the market. It's supply and demand, right? So consider that. Your agent may also recommend what is called a special sales contract. We have them here in Missouri. You may have them in your state. A special sales contract was normally reserved for buying homes that were typically considered investment properties that need to be refurbished or redone, and they were bought what we call as is. But they're being used here in St. Louis a little bit now because, and more commonly now, because they remove the inspection clause and the municipal inspection clause, or what we call government inspections. So they're becoming more popular. Also, don't be afraid to be flexible on the closing date and move-in time frames. You may even want to consider paying some of the seller's closing costs, which in the past it was normally the other way, but that's not the case anymore. Do not make the sale of your home contingent on closing on the property you're buying. No, there are very few sellers that are going to accept that contingency if they have multiple offers. If they don't, then sure, you might be okay. But consider how quickly your home might sell when you do put it on the market. And if a realtor is telling you, or several realtors are telling you, it will sell very quickly, it's in great condition, we'll price it right, etc., then there may not be a lot of risk to you. But again, consult with your real estate agent and make sure you're comfortable with that decision before you do. But again, removing contingencies is one way to make your offer more competitive. And that's about it. And as I said before, the specifics here depend on the state you live in and the discussion you have with your real estate agent. I can't give you legal advice and I can't give you real estate advice if you live outside of Missouri. However, if you are looking for a great agent, Coldwell Banker Realty Gundaker, or Coldwell Banker, is the largest real estate company in the country. And here in St. Louis, we're larger than our next two competitors combined. So what I have access to are amazing realtors across this entire country. And I can easily reach out to my network and screen realtors for you depending on your situation and find you a great realtor. We do this all the time. They're called referrals. As I mentioned in an earlier video, we recently did one for a friend in Virginia, and we just did one for a friend of mine whose mother passed in Cape Cod, and they will not be able to be there to handle any of this, and she's going to take care of everything for them. So if you need a great agent, we can find you one. My wife and I would love to help you if you are in St. Louis, and we do have a wonderful website with lots of great resources. I am a retired Navy officer, so there are a lot of resources on my website that pertain to the VA loan. Not as popular right now as it was, but it will come back. And if you're planning to use a VA loan, please check out those resources. There's a whole menu assigned just to that. So if we can be of any assistance, please let us know. Please subscribe to this video if you get a chance. And until next time, please take care, be safe, and good luck.